Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, I can tell I didn't know what to say because wasn't ready to be live. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Wasn't even. It's like countdown, and there's like something I'm supposed to do after the countdown to start the show, and then I'm like chilling. I'm just like looking around, and then I'm like, three, two, one. Oh, yo, yo, yo. Like, bro, what the fuck was that? All right, let's start this thing off right.
Ready for takeoff?
Zach. Whoa. Working hard on my stump, what's the problem? I ain't had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Brian James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Just the John on them jets cause you wildin'. But the bowl is a party on the island, moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pots flip. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof for my first whip. Split the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs on the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute, just the front, nigga. Goddamn. Had to grow up quick, I made my own rules. Had my first child, got it jumping with music. Can't really hang with nobody who losing. I thought by now that you would go and get it, but I could hardly see niggas this distant. Know you get cropped if you not in the picture. And I made that Zag and went got a bag. Shots to the Henny and OG prescriptions, put rebel shit on the map. Took a leap from where I started at. Started ballin', now I'm Chris Paul and Cass. Got him steady calling for the mold, but I'm on a roll, gotta call him back. And that's all fact.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. All aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas should now be clear. All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed, as they may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and communication systems. Once airborne, we'll let you know when you may use approved electronic devices, but note that some items may not be used at any time during the flight. You'll find a list of approved devices in the in-flight information section.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Shane Akandi rerun show. Actually, the Pocket Locker podcast. But yeah, we like some Shayna around here, and we're gonna get us into some Shayna around here. So it's late. You can probably tell I should be in bed already. I should be eating my old man meal. If you can't tell, my blood sugar's getting something high, low. One of the directions. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Also, yeah, I should be sleeping. But I saw something earlier. Cousin Jay saw some shit. So Cousin Jay has to rant about some shit. And also, I think tonight maybe we were supposed to do Black Free Thinkers, but we don't do that anymore because we're boycotting Skeptic Haven. Catch up. You're supposed to know. I told you guys, until further notice, we're boycotting all of the atheist organizations. All of them, Jay? All of them. Aren't there some that exist probably out there that we're not boycotting? Yes, but at this point, that is a much, much shorter list. And so holler at your boy if you've got questions about particulars. But until further notice, they're all on the naughty list, getting lumps of coal in their stockings this Christmas. All right, so why are we here? Racism. All right, so the racism of it all. First racism of it all is Black Christianity. See, part of the reason people don't want to have the honest conversation about Christianity, you know, that thing, how it's not honest, that part, the thing about it not being true. Boy, I can't believe I still have to actually have this conversation, but we have to literally talk about the truth. We have to talk about the truth and why the truth matters, why the truth should be non-negotiable, and why everybody, and I do mean everybody, should be subject to the truth. Yeah. Subject to the truth. That's not a good name for a podcast, but subject to change is a good name for a show. I shouldn't have put it out there. Somebody's gonna steal our damn name. But anyway, Kyle came up with that name. See, Kyle, I gave you credit. I said I was gonna take all the credit, but I gave you credit. All right, now anyway, racism. So part of the reason we won't have the honest conversation about the truth of Christianity, the not true part, is because it upholds a lot of white privilege and capitalism and patriarchy and misogyny and lots of other bad things. And part of that is if we had that conversation about it not being true, it would no longer be able to be used so effectively to uphold those things, right? But additionally, we'd also have to talk about why so many marginalized communities are so deeply, deeply religious, particularly Christian in America, particularly like either, evangelical in most communities and Catholic in certain other ones for their own sort of cultural and heritage and historical factors. But part of the narrative of the mythology that we tell ourselves is that the blacks and the browns, they just love them some Jesus. And yes, there are certain issues with certain religious groups and practices at times. It's always so categorized because we can't ever acknowledge the problem with the whole goddamn thing. And so we spin this narrative that we got to be careful with how we talk about it, especially around the black and the brown people, because it's very important to them. Like it's the backbone of their communities. It's like the glue that holds their families together. And in many ways it is, but we should talk about that glue. Like, is it a good glue? Is it a strong glue, or is it like a gross glue, or is it like trying to hold together a skyscraper with like the stuff you use for like, what's that stuff called? Cardboard, paperboard, cardboard, paper. Y'all know what I mean. The Elmer's stuff. Yeah, don't use that for building. I was going somewhere with that. Didn't quite land it. But anyway, it's gross, and nobody cares enough about the reality of like the lived experience of black and brown people, and particularly not from a skeptical perspective. But the reality is it's gross, and it's really, really gross, and it's really, really toxic, and it just brings out like the worst. And that's the thing about religion, is it just brings out the fucking worst in people, but then it gives them like this gross, like moralizing shield for all of it. So we're gonna talk. That's part of what we're talking about. All right, let's get into this. This is very good. This is very, very fascinating. Just listen to this. You're gonna be mind blown. So listen. Let's do what we should do. It's late. Let's do this fucking correctly. Cheers. Mode. All right, get ready.
Never in all my days. It's a long one, but watch this and then we'll talk.
When I first like started to officially cheat, right? It did not start off with me like sleeping around and stuff like that. It started off with me getting like sexual favors. So like anybody who's familiar with Rush Hour, Chris Tucker, when he went to the, he was like, I'm going to the Asian massage parlor. And then, he went into the place and it was like a bunch of like beautiful Chinese women that he could choose and pick. And then they all surrounded him. I thought that was what it was going to be. Let alone that was not the situation at all. Like I went there like first time, right? And it was like an old lady, like a real old lady. Like it put my guards all the way down. And I went in pretty much, take off your clothes, take this off, lay flat, got a massage, everything was good. Then she told me like turn around, and then when I turned around, she said, I'm like, what do you mean? She was
Okay,
like,
this body language, its voice tone is becoming way less serious confession and much more humble brag. But that's another problem with these Christians.
$40, baby, $40. I gave her $40. She gave me a hand job, and from that moment on, I was literally hooked. And it went from I went again and 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 again, to the point where I literally went to like I want to say like in a span of 5 years, I think I went to like 950 plus Asian massage places.
All right, I know. Everybody just needed a moment to. Did he really just say 950? Yes, yes, yes. I gave you a moment to process that. Also, weirdly specific number, and I know that feels like a weird thing to zero in on, but it's almost like the accounting of it, and it feels like that's another weird part of Christianity, because like in their imagination, God's up there with the fucking ledger, right? So it feels like, like it's weird. It's almost as if to say, like, if he had said 945 or something, like he would have known that is too low. He would have just really known. It's definitely at least 950. Like he felt like he could, like that was his safe, honest number. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like that, and that's a weirdly specific, strangely high minimum honesty starting point, right? Yeah. Okay. Glad we're on the same page about that.
Getting happy endings that eventually led to like escorts and like other stuff like that deepened like I'm talking about I could not stop.
Yeah, it sounds like
I couldn't even be trusted with like $50. That's how bad it was. Like how people have like gambling problems? I had a problem when it came to Asian massage parlors. It was bad.
My man's is like, don't let me hold the 50. I shouldn't be laughing, but why he said it's so bad? Yeah, it was so bad. Bro looks like he has a job, and like, he was paying the car note and shit. Like, he really sounded like he's a whole ass fiend. Like, he was like, bro, like I couldn't even see. Man, anything thicker than a 20, I start looking at that thing sideways. Oh, wow.
The moment I would get, even if we had like a Christmas party at work, oh, you Jarvis, you want $50. Immediately from head to toe, my body would start to burn. Like it'll burn, shake. Like there were times where I'd be at hotels and I would literally be shaking. I don't know if you guys seen that movie Black Snake Moan. My body was literally shaking because I was desiring it so much and I was trying to fight against that sexual pressure.
Gang, is it motherfucking me, or does this man sound like a dope fiend? Like, bro was getting the itch. Like, bro, roll up them sleeves, bro. If we rolled up them sleeves, bro, this man has been like scratching his skin off. Like, he was like, I had the shakes and the sweats. Like, bro, man, sex addiction is real. It's real. All right, man. You might need some some real medical intervention here. This is
It
sounds very
led me to all
serious.
sorts of places, escorts, you know, doing favors, all kind of stuff like that.
Ooh, he said doing favors. It's the first time I caught that. Escorts doing favors. Okay.
And it was just a no-go. It was a very, very bad situation that applied so much deep.
I gotta be honest with you. He sounds like he was in full-on predator mode, right? Like, I can't get $50 or else I'm going to get that happy ending. Like, I'm doing escorts, I'm doing sexual favors, I'm receiving sexual favors. So now his whole ass social economy, his whole supply and demand is sounds like is mediated through extramarital sexual contact. It's kind of it's a lot.
Negative perpetual pressure on my relationship with God, my relationship with my wife, my relationship at home with my children, my babies, and just period.
And notice how God is first. And that, you know, again, people think I'm pointing out trivial things like, Jay, they're Christians, that's just how they talk. But think about what that says. That this imaginary being is first. You're struggling with this inability to hold down your wife, and the reality is that the first thing you're really concerned about is how this is impacting your relationship with Sky Daddy, because he's your true master and he's your creator and you exist for his glory or some shit like that. I whatever.
Yeah, like I was disgusted with myself. My self-esteem got lower. I was literally destroying my wife's self-esteem, destroying my self-esteem, and it felt like I could not stop. There was times where I would get off the table after an Asian massage parlor experience, and I would literally be fully unclothed on the ground crying. Like, I'm talking about I was so emotionally broken, completely
Anybody else
broken.
having a hard time believing that when you're doing something 950, is it really? I mean, I guess it could be. I mean, addiction's a motherfucker. But again, how does this not speak to the complete bankruptness of Christianity? That this thing causes you this spiritual torment and anguish, and you're just writhing and just hoping Jesus will just take this from you. And you know, you're doing this shit for fucking years, 900 times. Like, you know, these stories are very difficult. It's very difficult to believe he was really experiencing that much torment over it. I really have a hard time believing that. But it's also just it's just so out of hand to me how nobody holds Christians accountable for just giving no fucks about and having no concern with reality. And I just don't get that. I just don't get that. I just don't understand how people could see how much terrible shit this brings upon us, and we're not even supposed to talk about the fact that it's not true. Like, such fucking cowards.
A lot of times men, we feed our sexual desires for years. I'm talking about 4 years. And we don't understand that giving the devil that foothold into our lives.
And there it is. You see, it's all right. Giving the devil that foothold into our lives
is literally a foothold into our marriages. But we have held hands.
What? Letting the devil get you to cheat on your wife is gonna cause a problem in your sacred marriage? What? Man, what a profound fucking lesson.
This demonic spirit for so long that it does not leave when you get married. It stays. And it's like, oh yeah, no. We're gonna have our way with you still. And it pulls you. Then you have all of these women that come and all of these new suggestions and all of these new desires that come, these new women that come. The enemy will keep pulling. And that's what happened. So I met the girl at my job. Like I said, she reached out to me DM me and everything like that. You know, very, very flirty. We began to meet up. And the thing about it was she was not like amazingly beautiful. You know what I mean? Like she was average at best. But the thing about it was, I think that's kind of how it flew under the radar a little bit, was the fact that I wasn't looking at her like, oh, she's bad, she's so fine. No, she was like decent, she was cute or whatever, but it wasn't like heartthrob. You know what I mean? So I
And
felt
then listen to how easy it is for him to just tear down the attractiveness and beauty of this woman that, you know, he jeopardized his whole ass fucking marriage for. And I just don't even understand. Like, I don't know. For me, like, it just, again, like, this is shit is so off putting. But this is just what happens in the Christian mind, because the way they're socialized to think about relationships is fucked up. It's just a fucked up fucking. It's just a fucked up fucking system. I don't. It's horrific. Let's continue, because we want to get into the conversation with Shayna.
able to talk to her in person and stuff like that. But I didn't understand the emotional effects of talking to a woman for so long, and how it will literally
He
bind you.
didn't understand the emotional effects of talking to a woman for so. Do y'all believe this pitter patter? Who has not understood since the days of, you know, middle school crushes, the effects of becoming, you know, so emotionally and socially close to somebody there's a mutual attraction with? Like, come on now. What type of games are y'all playing?
And connect you with that woman. And we built a soul tie. We trauma bonded so
soul tie.
fast, so quickly.
And again,
that's-
because of this religious bullshit, they don't nobody. It's like I bet you if I talk to them about the concept of an emotional affair, we would have a follow-up conversation about whether or not an emotional affair is really an affair. Right. Because part of what people don't ever want to talk about is the reality that people like this, they get to pick and choose, again, reality. And so they're really never up on, there's no attempt even to be up on like reality and like what real adults have learned about fucking relationships. You're supposed to know this, bro. Before you marry somebody, you're supposed to know that, like, part of guarding PT, to them it's like, oh, I made a vow to not fuck anybody else because of God. So that's your first problem. Your first problem is that y'all don't really value or understand the choice to make that commitment to somebody. You think it's what you're quote unquote supposed to do or whatever. So you're trying to fit into this role, because your ass really has no business being married, obviously, right? But you can't say that or be that way, right? That's far too deviant. So this person who clearly has no business being married, and definitely no business being married to the person he's actually married to, you know, it's like you're just out here doing that, and you have no notion of that commitment, no understanding of it, and really no desire for it. You have this magical thing where you're supposed to get married to this person, then you're expecting this God to come in and like magically fix you up and like make you into a faithful man. And so then when it turns out that you're the same fucking dog shit person who has no empathy or fucking compassion or consideration for your fucking romantic partner, just like you were probably dogging her out before y'all got married. Let's keep it real. Yeah, now you're just fucking dogging her out, and then like doing the performative thing that Christians do, right? Which is pretending to have some kind of spiritual or emotional fucking crisis or being wrecked over this. Meanwhile, you just carry this pattern out over years and then escalate it. And then when you supposedly take accountability for it, it isn't really you that was a piece of shit and fucked up your marriage. It was actually the devil made you do it, right? You see what I'm saying, y'all? And this is the shit that's supposed to be the glue of our people and our culture. And I'm like, what are you trying to say to me about black people when you say shit like that? And of course, the only thing that makes that fucked up for me is that it's fucking true. And then I gotta wonder with the black people themselves, what the fuck are y'all doing with this bullshit? How is it how this is a fever dream? How is it 2025 and you could come on TikTok, be getting it like that, talking like this?
When, you know, things got out of hand and stuff like that, it took me a minute to get over that situation. Definitely took me a minute to get over that situation.
Yeah, and it's funny. He
but-
said that they trauma bonded. Like, that's like, it's almost like he was supposed to be using that they trauma bonded as some kind of justification as to why he cheated. But yeah, what are you really revealing about whatever dynamic you were a part of, if that's the term you reached for? Yeah, because most of us would have just, because if it wasn't some fucked up shit, most people would have just said, yeah, I became really close to this person, we became great friends, and then it started as an emotional thing or whatever, right? But he did. Kyle's very protective. He jumped straight on that
the
fucking
grace of
trauma
God
bond. He
was
sure
able to
did.
be delivered from it, was able
He
to move
sure
past
did,
it, move
Kyle.
forward from it. But I just want to give you guys a little context as to kind of my story and things that I've done a little bit. I intend to go into more of the situation. I know it's very triggering to hear. I know that as women, you know what I mean, I have a majority female audience base. But if you can take any
Stop me when you're fucking terrified. Where's the fucking red flag guy? I got it. Yo, I need a red. Yo, here we go. I still got my bandana from the motherfucking redneck street. We gotta start breaking out this red flag a little bit more often, y'all. I gotta keep this shit on hand.
sort of value from my story, and if you can, learn anything, I would really appreciate you. Share the content, learn from it, laugh, get mad. I definitely get it. But this is
Bro, stop grifting off your fucking affair stories. So fucking weird.
story. You know what I mean? It's unique to me, it's unique to who I am, and I've been through a lot. So I'm sharing, what I've been through, what I've gone through, what I've done, so that it can in some sort of way bless somebody else.
And the funny thing is, I
I
hear so many people probably thinking that, like, maybe for her or even for me, this is like, like picking a particularly egregious example of, bad behavior because it's convenient. But honestly, the thing that's scary to me, and I'm sure probably to her as well about this, is how normalized this type of behavior really is if you have Black Christians in your life. How normal this type of talk is, how normal this type of mentality is. Even amongst, the funny thing is, the way he's talking, honestly, I expect to hear this type of talk from Black ministers, from Black pastors. This is how they talk. This is how they behave. Treating their congregations like it's a fucking, like, just a target rich environment, and who's showing out for them the most in they Sunday best, and they cheat on their wives the same way. It's crazy. So it's funny to me that people have no real understanding of how normalized this type of thinking is, because it's built into the way these people learn how to relate to the world. And by way of that, all the shit they don't learn. They don't learn anything about healthy relations. They don't learn anything about real commitment. They don't learn anything about really valuing your partner and communicating and empathy and understanding, and there's none of that real shit. There's none of that real shit when you grow up in a fucking cult. So I don't understand why everybody keeps acting like this cult shit is so cute and refusing to look at the damage it does.
But Jesus never left me. Like, even when I was
Jesus
at the
never
missioner's
left
house
me.
and everything like that, I remember I would be in a bathroom crying and speaking in tongues, like, and praying, like, literally, like, asking God to
Think
help
about
me.
what he's
Like,
saying. Jesus was just in the room with you when you was getting the happy ending. Jesus is what, chilling? He's like, And he's just like, yeah, I see you. I see you. I see you there. I see you cheating on your wife, and I see you getting this hand job. Don't worry, you're gonna go in the bathroom and cry on the floor naked afterwards and cry out to me. What kind of bullshit is this, y'all? What part of the game is that? Who raised y'all? I know who raised y'all. Black Christians.
In those situations, the whole time, my wife never stopped praying for me. She never stopped, interceding for me. Neither did my mother. These situations, cheating is a very bad it's a very bad habit. It's a very bad mindset. It's a very bad decision to do.
So why are you doing it? Why didn't you grow the fuck out of this? Like, and it's crazy because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna put it to you like this: cheating. I'm a fucking sex researcher. I'm about to be teaching sex and evolution next semester. Cheating is certainly a part of human behavior. It really is. But for me, in a civilized world, grown ass motherfuckers, y'all got to grow the fuck up and leave that shit alone. And to me, like, whatever. I know a lot of people try not to judge other people, but I'm pretty fucking judgy, to be honest with you. And I just don't have a real high opinion of people who cheat on their partners. And also, I gotta be honest with you, because this is my channel. I'm gonna just tell you some shit some of my friends need to fucking think about a little bit more. They don't even really notice necessarily, but they need to think about the shit a little bit more. If you're one of my friends and you talk to me about how you cheat on your fucking spouse, yeah, you just put a cap on our friendship that is like way down here and like way over there. Our friendship just grew so much fucking distance in it, you have no idea. Because this other person that you tell them that they're your best friend and y'all are committed to each other for life and all this shit, and they're the mother of your children, and you be building a fucking household with them and all this fucking shit. If you lying to them and rolling out on them, I'm like a motherfucking work colleague, or we motherfucking homies for how the fuck we know each other or whatever the fuck. How I'm supposed to think you gonna be real loyal and fucking a good friend for me if this is how you treat your fucking wife? I don't know. How do people not think about that? Like, am I the only person that thinks about that? Somebody be telling me the shit they be doing on spouse. I'd be sitting there thinking, like, how does this person think I'm gonna think they're a fucking terrible person now? Don't they realize I'm not gonna trust them now either? Now that I know that their wife can't trust them, I know I can't trust them. What the fuck is wrong with them? So I just don't understand it. So anyway, you need to grow out of that shit. You make a commitment, like, you just supposed to just understand that that's what you got to do now. You supposed to have thought about that before you made the motherfucking commitment. And then if you can't, you're supposed to have that goddamn conversation. Hey, look, baby, listen, I know we did the marriage and the aisle and the families and the honeymoons and children and all of that, but we got to talk. We got to talk, because I'm just, this arrangement isn't meeting my needs. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you grown. Like, y'all grown. You're grown. It's 2025. Motherfuckers, it's an open relationships, poly relationships, mixed families, single parenthood, happily co-parenting while divorced, friendly with the person they co-parenting with. People's figuring all types of shit out. It's 2025. People are figuring all types of shit out. Nobody needs to be stuck in a fucking marriage that is no longer fucking meeting their needs. If your needs have changed, you be like, yeah. Matter of fact, y'all, I ain't even gonna hold you. I think a lot of relationships should come with, like, maybe I'm getting way too deep into my personal relationship philosophy, but y'all, what if people just started messing around with, like, periods of time that your relationship is committed for, and you just revisit that shit? You know what I mean? Like, what if you just, like, you go to the doctor for, like, a yearly checkup? You know what I'm saying? What if you first start seeing somebody, you know what I'm saying, and things start a little, you start saying, me and you, all right, cool. We just met. You know what I mean? We just met. We were talking on the app for a little bit. Now we've gone on a couple dates. All right, so what if we just say just for a couple weeks? For a couple of weeks, we're going to try this out. We're going to see how it goes. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to check back in. All right? So you're chilling, y'all having fun, y'all having a good time. You know what I mean? You go out to dinner a couple of weeks later, y'all chilling. Oh, by the way, yeah, we should check in real quick. I'm having a great time. This has been lovely. How about you? Oh, you having a great time too? Cool. You want to keep this going? Cool. Let's keep this going. All right. What if we say we just go back in for like a month? We'll check back in a month, make sure we cool. All right, cool. Right. And then you can push it out. Once you get really committed, you go to 3 months, then you go to like a year. And once y'all really solid, you just go year to year, maybe around your anniversary each year, you just checking, hey baby, you light up my world. Fucking, I swear to God, the fucking sun hasn't risen in the morning until I see you. I just want to make sure you still feel the same way about me. Oh yeah, baby, everything's been good. It's like every year our love grows deeper, and this is just so amazing, and you're my person, and it's wonderful. All right, cool. All right, cool. Let's rock. Let's make this our best year ever on 3. Best year ever on 3. 1, 2, 3. Best year ever. All right, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if people just rock like that? Because it would allow you to just check in. You know what I mean? Just check in. Just make sure everything's okay, and try to catch things. And maybe you got to make some tweaks, some adjustments. You know what I mean? Keep that thing rolling. I'm just saying. I don't know, y'all. I'm spitballing, but again, it's 2025. Like, try some shit. I don't I don't know. Improvise. Figure it out. I'm just saying, like, we trying to rock with a level of freedom, and this shit is crazy that people just can't communicate about what they need or what's going on. Like, it's so wild.
And I am advocating against it. I don't think that it's cute. I don't think that it's funny. Even though I'm very humorous, I think that cheating is a very bad thing, whether a man is doing it or a woman is doing it. So cheating is something that I have taken complete accountability for. And it takes strength. It takes perseverance to continue, in the path of fidelity when you've been in it literally your entire life. I seen my mother get cheated on. I never had like a consistent.
Oh, see, Michael said sperm wars in a civilized world, Jay. There's no such thing as cheating because we don't own our partners. Hey, Michael. Y'all know Michael's a man of the future. Michael, I'm with you. But I will say this: Sperm Wars, Robin Baker's book. Yeah, that was one of my early books. That was one of the things that got me into studying like sex and evolution and stuff. And I didn't even know it. That was one, but I love that book. That book is so cool. It's a controversial book, but I think it's a really good one, and I think people should read that book. Regardless of if you end up, co-signing on the theories or not, that's a good ass fucking book. Maybe I should teach that book next semester. I am teaching Sex and Evolution. I could probably throw Sperm Wars in there. Yeah, I might be able to teach that book next semester, y'all. I think students will fucking love me if we talk about that book. That book is crazy. And then they give me an excuse to talk about it on stream too. Our pattern is more serial monogamy. Yeah, a lot of people rock with the serial monogamy. Yeah, serial monogamy for sure. I was teaching my students about that, like, because we technically have, So people say, like, depending on how you think about it, some people say the human mating system is mildly polygynous. Most societies throughout most of human history have allowed some form of it, but even in a polygynous society, most people are married monogamously, and then in most societies like ours, it's socially enforced. But even then, people marry and they go from relationship to relationships, and men are slightly more likely to do that than women. But I don't know. That's kind of just the script. I think so much of that is filtered through so many layers of society, culture, law, mores and folkways that it's really hard to say what our nature is, because our nature is to be constrained by the cultural context in which we find ourselves.
Father in the house anyway. Like my dad was out the house and he cheated on her. You know what I mean? And my stepdad, he constantly cheated on her. So
yeah, I'm picking up on that.
My biological father's patterns, but really, I have been continuing my
Happy to have you
stepdad's
here.
cycles and what he did to my mom, because that's what I seen. So you can't make an excuse like, well, I seen it. No, I have sons. I have 3 sons. So I have to make sure that I am creating a new cycle for the next generation. You know what I mean? So I hope that this encouraged you guys. Love you.
That man, for the 10 years, it's like, I think they were married for 10 years. For 5 years of that 10-year marriage, he was cheating on this. He said over 950 massage parlors along with the escorts. And then he said that he was doing a little something extra on the side, and he didn't even say what it was. Oh my God. And in the midst of all this, talking about weeping on the floor of his mistress's house and talking about crying on the massage table and how the Lord never left him, but I take full responsibility. You see why? And
Even
it's
though he
not just
did it and he
him.
doesn't, right? He doesn't. That's again, and it's part of the lies we let religious people tell us and tell themselves. But like, you're not taking full responsibility for it when you interpret it as goddamn right, AR, red flag on the motherfucking play. You're not taking full responsibility when you're blaming it on the motherfucking devil. Fucking ridiculous. And then the message to the women that you should stay and pray, that you should stay in a situation with a person like this, again, because it's a spiritual struggle and a spiritual battle that you guys are in together, and you have a religious and spiritual obligation to stay with somebody who's doing this to you because they don't believe in divorce, right? So divorce is worse than being in an abusive relationship. And this is the type of fucked up shit that we grow up with, and it's so toxic, and it creates so much toxicity on both sides. Like, as much as this is about the toxicity of the man, there's a certain toxicity that comes along with so many black women, from their role and authority and their source of autonomy in our communities, coming from their identity as like the spiritual and religious, like godly Christian women that are like the matriarch of families, right? And so both genders, if we can, yeah, I guess, because we're talking about the Christian worldview anyway, so I guess we can safely talk about both genders. But they're they're both kind of suffering, and it doesn't get talked about, and it's so awful. Like, I see, for instance, what this man is doing, and like I said, that's so normal. This is so everyday shit in black communities and in black families. But I could give you so much toxicity I see from black women, not often intended, but just from the fact that, like I said, so much of their identity has been wrapped up in that their role to maintain it and to reinforce it becomes like this incredibly dominating, controlling need to assert your religious preferences on everyone in your life. You can never have a man in your life who does not uphold your religious, preferences. You can't have any. Your children have to all be in a line. Every event you do has to be God honoring. All the music at your events have to be God honoring. Everybody has to hold hands and pray before every family meal. And so it's a literally, they mandate that to be accepted into the family, you have to bend the knee. You have to go along with the cult. And then there's the toxic interplay of these dynamics, where her strength and her power and her autonomy comes from being a godly woman, and then by that same commitment, she then has to stay in the situation, in the abusive relationship, in the fucked up situation, because a godly woman would not divorce or leave her man. And then the man can't ever escape his own toxic role because he's constrained by the gendered expectation of the cult as well. He's expected to remain faithful to his wife and be monogamous and all these other things. So there's no space for him to even you know, figure out what the fuck is really going on with his fucking ass. Um, and then again, the divorce is worse than anything that could possibly going on in the relationship mentality. Means even if it's just so obvious that probably neither of these people should be married, and certainly not to each other, um, that's just not an option. And it just it's so it's so scary that people keep acting like this is something pleasant and cute and, oh, isn't it charmed how delightful black folk, those good black Christians are. And it's like you just have no idea at the rot this actually like brings upon us.
It's not just him. This is why men love Christianity and men love a good Christian woman, because she never stopped praying for him.
Ruins the ability of healthy
His
relationships.
mother never stopped praying for. Sure, he did exactly. He did arguably probably more than the partners of his mother did to his mom. And he's like, I got 3 sons. I gotta do better. Sir, you've been doing worse. You've been doing worse. And then you come onto the internet, you come onto Meg the Stallion's internet to proclaim your wife's deepest sadness with your whole face to and then encouraging people to share it. I'ma share it. And we're gonna talk about it. Because listen, don't go sending this man hate. Do not go sending this man hate, because it's not about him. Because he is one of, there's billions of people in the world, so I'm going to say millions. He's one of millions. The absolute lack of self-control. Lack of self-control, and then putting it on the devil.
Yeah, any sunk cost to
Putting
keep you
it
in.
all on, oh, well, I was just attacked, and these words were demonic forces. You have no self-control.
Yeah,
You
and
have
it's so annoying. And then what's crazy to me is that so many women are literally taught this is the type of man you have to seek. Who, if we were being honest, it would be like one who literally does not value being faithful to you in and of its own right. And we could have a conversation, like for instance with Michael, about you know, we don't own our partners, and so there should be no such thing as cheating. For me, Michael, it comes down to, and I think this was where you guys were mostly at with the conversation as well, which is like it's an agreement, you know. And so if your agreement is, hey, anything goes as long as you know it's within whatever parameters we set, then have at it. But if it's, I'm only going to park your car in, you know, I'm only going to park my car in your garage, and my car is going to be the only car parked in your garage, and that's what y'all agree to, then y'all should fucking rock with that, at least until that is no longer working for you. Um, and so like to me that's like totally fine. Like I'm able to go into a situation with somebody and say, oh, this person is looking for like anything goes, my body's my own, your body's your own, well, we rock with each other the way we rock with each other, but there should be complete, okay, like I can consider that and decide if that's something I want to do with this person. Oh, this other person is like, I'm trying to get married, have some kids, you do the whole white picket fence thing and retire together 50 years from now, whatever the fuck. Like, I can consider whether I want to do that. We could do something temporary. We could do something. We could do something poly. We could do. There's all the options are all the options, and you just go through life and figure out what works for you when it works. So I think it's all good. I just think we all just get on the same page about the shit should be consensual. There should be communication. And if the shit's no longer working, you like change, but you don't go like do this super damaging shit. And it's really horrible that we spiritualize these things, which gives us a complete inability to appreciate them for what they're. I guess that my point was trying to say that like I can appreciate the beauty and value of a monogamous relationship for what that brings for people in one. I just think it sucks to think you're in one and not really be in one. Just like I can recognize the value of being in a committed, stable relationship where it's open or you're not monogamous, because again, that's like a different thing that it offers for people who that works for. And I'm cool with like fucking everything in between. But this shit is just so toxic. It's like I'm okay with everything except this bullshit.
Putting it on the devil. Putting it all on, oh, well, I was just attacked and these words were demonic forces. You have no self control. You have no impulse control. You have no empathy for your wife. You have no consideration for your family, for your children. You have no foresight for the children, for the sons that will be following in your footsteps, because you've been following in the footsteps of the men before you. The rope is strong. The pattern is strong, and everybody's just grabbing along, just chugging along, following the same exact. What is this? I can't even say what is this, because this is a tale as old as time. Ladies, and I say that I'm saying it more and more. I'm not saying that you are allowed to believe whatever it is that you want to believe. You are allowed to have whatever spiritual, religious journey, faith, whatever. You are allowed to believe whatever it is that you want to believe, as long as it's not hurting anybody. And honestly, that's it. As long as it's not hurting anybody.
All right, so
And
my thing is, I want people to stop saying this. I just want people to just come just take a just take another step in the right direction. I think that is that's a thing we say that's not the result of empirical reality, but more common wisdom, common sense, if you will, social consensus. I don't think it's actually true. We know that actually what you believe does matter because it dictates what you can do. And so I I wish we actually did care what people believe. I think we can have both. We can have freedom of expression. We can enshrine everyone's rights to be protected in certain activities, but I can still care what you believe, and at least say, "Hey, I value that what you care is true." You may not care that what you believe is true, but for me, it's important that what you believe is true. And I think that truth, again, part of where I was trying to set this up, truth has to make its way back into our vocabulary, back into what we are talking about as being fundamentally important, and requiring that to really be considered a healthy, functioning adult, you care about the truth. Even if that means what you were raised to believe turns out to not be true. And if you can't do that, I think there is a real problem. And I just think society has shown us that time and time again, and it's time we honor that lesson.
ideally, it is making your life better. Believe whatever it is that you want to believe, but know that religions like this, men love religions like this. There's a reason why conservative Christianity has been getting more popular among men globally, because it allows for this kind of behavior. It allows for this kind of behavior, to create space for this kind of behavior. And they're like, well, Jesus was with me the whole time. This was not my fault. This was the devil's fault. Yeah, I should have been a little bit stronger, should have been a little bit more booga. But you know what? God's got me. I cried about it. I prayed about it. It's all done now. So we're good. So we're absolutely good. The fact that this man said that he was out here shaking, he would get $50 and shake.
And again, too, like I would say this too, like religion makes all of this so much worse. One, the idea that like again, it's a spiritual problem. So again, he can just go to Jesus and damn, Jesus forgave you for your sin. Well, damn, who am I to keep a grudge about it? But even the notion of forgiveness, that like compulsory forgiveness, I think that's actually also super toxic. I think it's okay to not forgive someone that's done all this to you. But even if you are going to forgive them, it's good to do that as a human, like in the fullness of it, to really say like, oh, for whatever reason, I'm going to just decide that, this is a deeply, flawed and broken individual, but I love them, and they seem to really have an addiction that got out of control or whatever. I don't know. It's just the whole religion thing just makes it weird. It's just like even when you exercise forgiveness, it's like not something I can celebrate because I don't know that you did it like in the full light of what the human aspect of forgiveness in a situation like this really means and really represents in terms not just of what you are allowing yourself to reconcile with, but also, continued risk or an exposure that might result. Um, and then it also just feels like you're not free to make that choice on your own. You seem to be mandated by your cult to practice forgiveness in this case. Like it's a mess.
Because he wanted to go to an Asian parlor. Also, outside of, I hope that all those women did great things with the money that this man was clearly had an addiction to going to these parlors. But also, this man very clearly has a fetish. And that fetish, I can almost put money on it. Not going to put money on it in front of him. But that his wife does not fit within his preference. The itch that he's
Yep.
been trying to scratch, I'm sure that when he
Yep.
goes home, he's like, it's not my wife. Ladies, all I'm going to say at the end of this, because that was a lot. Don't stay with these men that are out here. Oh, friend. Don't stay out here with these men that are out here loudly embarrassing you. Loudly, proudly, calling it their testimony. Your shame is their testimony. Your trauma
I love that.
is their healing.
Your shame is their testimony. Your trauma is their healing. Mm, mm, mm.
Damage that they have done to you, the children that you laid your life on the line for to birth, isn't God so good? Praise him. And any book, any religion, any pastor, any congregation, any church, any collective that says you should stay and pray your way through this consistent disrespect, this consistent this is a safety issue, because you don't know what else that man is out there doing. He didn't really tell us. Any entity that says you should stay and you should pray and Lord will make a way, that is the spirit of evil. That is the thing that goes bump in the night. Ladies, this is not the time. This is not the time. Because that article isn't embarrassing to have a boyfriend. If having a boyfriend is embarrassing, then what is this? That's all I gotta say for right now. I'm gonna watch some TV, get this out of my system. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that sexy stuff. Ooh, I need water. All
Yeah.
right, stay safe out there.
All right, y'all. So glad y'all watched that with me. I have some thoughts to share with y'all about this. And it's like a simple thing to me, but it's sort of so profound in all of this. And that is the idea that in so many of these communities, and I'm just speaking about Black folks because that's what I know, but I see this in, other groups. The idea is that if you want someone faithful, as in faithful to you, and I will say whatever that means, right? Whatever loyalties matter to you. But a lot of people, it means, not cheating on you because you're in a, monogamous or somehow limited situation. For other people, it might be just, really sticking with whatever it is that you have committed to or boundaries you've set in place or goals you share, whatever it might be. But it's that if you want someone faithful to you, faithful to that, you need someone faithful. And that really means faithful to God, faithful to the religion, right? And then the lesson that comes is you can't expect one without the other. You can't expect someone to be faithful to you unless they're first faithful to God, which is crazy because someone being faithful to something else first and foremost is the exact opposite of what it really means to be faithful to someone. And never mind all the fact that the religion and the cult, all that it teaches you, spiritualizing and moralizing these things, is the exact opposite of the real skill and commitment it takes to be faithful to whatever it is you establish with this person, which is to like get in there with them, value them enough as a human being. Like she talked about, like the fact that like is that not even your friend, or y'all not even friends? I often think about that with so many men. Like I want to be like, just because you're heterosexual doesn't mean you like women, right? I need to repeat that. I feel like just because you're heterosexual talking to men doesn't mean you like women. Like there's a difference between, I guess, technically you're sexually attracted to women, or maybe limit your sexual activity to women, but that's different than liking women, like enjoying them, like, you know? Um, and the idea that for men, so many of them, it's like the relationship is for sex, and then it's like if they're not getting sex or what they want sexually, then like it's almost to be understood and excused that like of course they'll, you know, it's like it just all gets, it's all so fucking toxic. And it is kind, it does kind of sting a bit, um especially because again it's something that's super strong and super important to so many black women. Like it sometimes feels like almost impossible to, like, depending on where you live, to like, you know, meet, you know, sufficient number of like black women who are even willing to date somebody that's not religious. It's so much more likely to even be in their profile and stuff like that. And you start to just wonder like, damn, and you know, for them it means they're like looking for a faithful man, and I'm thinking to myself like, you want these religious dudes, they don't even really value that. They don't know nothing about that. Like this is part of some religious role play fairy tale fucking marriage side quest for them. And nobody ever talks about how that's the approach we take into our families and into our households, into our marriages where our children are born. And like that is seen as like the epitome of black love. Like I was in the store the other day shopping for a fucking greeting card or whatever, and it was so fascinating to me that there's like sections of cards, that were like clearly dedicated to black folks, and it's like, oh, let me like check these out. And almost every single one was religious. And it was just like, oh, like this is what it means to appeal to black people in our culture. This is what it means to pander to black people. Like if you want to show you're sensitive to black folk, like have a section dedicated to their shit, and it's just got to be God, Jesus, Jesus, God, blessed, blessed, purpose, purpose, hope, blessed, purpose. Like and it's like that's what the black, that'll get that black dollar in here. They black folk, man, they just love them some Jesus. You know, they're not gonna want to buy it if it doesn't have, it's not all Jesus-y. And then, you know, of course, going to family functions or any of our events, especially this time of year. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I just felt like that was such a good video, a good opportunity to really point out the problems of this notion of faithfulness. Because really, it's a bunch of bullshit, and it's the exact opposite. If you want somebody who's faithful to you, like get with somebody who likes you for you and thinks that, at least as of right now, your plan and vision for a future together sounds like a good plan and vision for a future together to them, and like, cause y'all fucks with each other. That's what I want to fucking hear. I want to hear about how your wife was sick and down and downtrodden and had all this terrible shit happen, but you just loved being with her and seeing the grace and strength she carried it all with, and how your friendship deepened and you got to learn more about each other. And if you noticed that you were having less sex, it was like, it was cool because it was replaced by like a deeper intimacy. And maybe we spent more of that time staying up late at night talking and cuddling, watching movies, eating popcorn, and you fucks with that person. Like, you're down, you're still having a good time, you're still chilling with your favorite person and doing some of your favorite things. And it's all good. But it's just, we don't get that real love. We get this toxic fake cult role play bullshit. It's so annoying. All right, y'all. I should have been in bed a long ass time ago. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for rocking with me. Wanted to rant about that with y'all. Appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. Said I'm gone. And I can't end the stream. It's like, nah. They're like, nah. Gang, I'm pressing the end stream button and it's like, nope. No. What is happening right now? I guess I'm not